G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to something different. Look, I don't normally do a game day preview as such, but man, there's not enough hype around this Parramatta Eels and Canterbury Bulldogs clash on Sunday. So I'm joined by a massive Bulldogs fan. There are plenty of Bulldogs fans who give it to me on social media, but one of those boys is Josh from Sportshed TV. He loves his Bulldogs. How are you going tonight, Josh?
I'm very good. Thank you for asking. I'm excited for this game. I know you are, but I just can't wait.
I'll tell you what, man, the thing that people are underestimating is that the Bulldogs, although their record at Bankwest hasn't been great, I know it was a while ago, but they were able to beat Parramatta at a time where they kind of had players out and
Yeah,
Parramatta, they weren't playing their best footy, but they were playing okay.
yeah,
Bulldogs come away with a scrappy win. So the Bulldogs do know how to win at Bankwest, but obviously just quickly, we'll get into the recent history, which
yeah.
seems to be in Parramatta's favour for the most part, a 36-10 victory over the Bulldogs in 2021. The Bulldogs got the better of the Eels last year in June. I thought Burton and Addo Carr, who we'll speak more about it later, but Addo Carr, it's really sad, obviously not playing for this match and spending a bit of time on the sidelines for the Bulldogs fans after a really good start to the season. But yeah, great performance by the Bulldogs. They ran over our forward pack. Their back line scored plenty of points and 34-4 that game at Acor, which I'll tell you what, it was great for Parramatta to win at Acor against the Tigers because we don't play well there.
Yeah, that game in particular, I think you guys were unlucky with the start. You guys were all over us, and then Abelero takes an intercept and changes the game. I clearly remember
Absolutely, the momentum change.
you guys have had the edge on us the last couple of years, and I've hated it.
Well, you can see there from 14 matches played that Parramatta have won 11 wins,
Right.
11 wins, and the Bulldogs have 3. I mentioned one of those being that game at Bankwest, one of them being last year. And then before that, I think we have to go back to about 2018 when Parramatta got the wooden spoon. I think it might have been an 18-10 victory. It was a grindy, close game back when Tim Manor, Jared Hayne, players like that were playing back then.
Yeah, that were the good years. I remember those games. They were always close ones. But recently, as you can see here, it's just there's no close games. It's just they're blowouts.
I think here there is a section. I'm just going to try and hover over it where it says last matches. I don't know if that. Oh, that includes, I guess, this season. Well, obviously this season.
Show more. You see that show more tab?
Was there a show more tab there that I missed?
No, if you go back.
If I go back to head, he's teaching
more.
me.
Go down. You see that underneath the last? Yeah. Show more. Can you see it?
I can't even see it, man.
Under the
here we go. Show more. He has seen it. Okay, so there you go. So as you said, Parramatta recently getting the wood. Another game at Acor Stadium where the Bulldogs probably could have won that game, 18-16 back in 2020. Bulldogs played really, really well in that game. I remember, I think it was Jake Averillo scoring a very good try on the wing.
Yes.
And then there's the one I mentioned in 2019, and then
few closer games there.
20-12. Sorry, 8-point win against the Eels in 2018. So yeah, Parramatta seem to have the wood over the Bulldogs, but this Bulldogs team this year. Now we will get into their lineup, and obviously there are some big outs for the Dogs. But how impressed have you been with Canterbury this year? Have they exceeded your expectation? I'm someone who I've been exceeded by the Bulldogs. I think to be able to beat a team like Melbourne in Melbourne is such a big statement by the margin that they did. However, I don't know where I have the Bulldogs on the ladder now. Going into the season, I did have them in 8th position, but I want to know, have you thought that they've exceeded your expectation or just about right or underperformed?
Well, I had them finish in top 8. I've the 8th spot right there. But it's really hard to judge with the injuries. We haven't had a full strength doggy side, and I wouldn't say I'm impressed because I expect them to play better than what they did last year. But at the same time, I'm not disappointed. Like, I think we're going in the right direction. As a Doggies fan, we're pretty honest. We're an honest fan base. We'll say how it is. We'll say if a player's not playing that well, we'll say it. But yeah, I feel like everyone's doing their role, and they're gelling well. I thought the culture is coming back, that dogs of war culture, and I can't say anything negative about the squad. I mean, a massive loss last week to Rabbitohs, which was disappointing. I was at the game, but that wasn't the true Bulldogs. A lot of things happened, and yeah, for me, I'm not disappointed.
Yeah, well, they started. I was at that game as well. It was my first Good Friday clash. I was looking forward to getting
Yeah.
down to one. I thought it'd be a tight-ish contest. I think I tipped South by 10, if I'm not mistaken, not 50. But Josh Adokar went off early. The Bulldogs scored first. They had a nice start, but you could tell just before halftime, I think when it was about 18-6, that's when I was like, look, there's a chance. And at 12-6, I still had it being a contest, but the Rabbitohs just ran away with it. I think Latrell Mitchell rose to the occasion of his milestone game. What have you thought of the Bulldogs bench? Obviously, we can see here on our screen that Josh Reynolds has been back for a while. And some people think that Josh Reynolds may not have been there if it wasn't for all of these injuries and may find himself out of the 17, which I think is a bit harsh to say because I think he's been playing well. He's definitely given away some penalties and given away some errors, which is something that he does. Jaden Ockenbaugh comes back in this week who, look, he's been a bit inconsistent. He has had some good games, but overall, I just don't know if he deserves his spot. And Corey Waddell has been outstanding, both in starting or in the bench. What do you think of the Bulldogs bench this season?
Oh, this season it's really hard to read. I'm not sure what direction the coaching staff are going in because of all the injuries, but I assumed Reynolds to make a appearance on the number 14 jersey, like around 12, around 11, around Origin time, like whenever Origin was going to hit. But with Manu Brown getting injured, and that forced that to happen for him to play that 14. And I feel like he's been amazing. Despite the results, he's come on and given us shape and direction in attack, which we are lacking. Nothing against Flanagan, but he's a defensive half. He's not an attacking half, in my opinion. Where Reynolds comes on and he creates a spark in the team. Everyone listens to him. Everyone wants to go with him, even in defense. But I feel like his role and what he does allows him to deserve that position at number 14. But to say that for Manu Brown is also a very solid 14 because he's a great player.
Yep.
With Ockenbaugh is a funny one. I understand what they're trying to do. He's not a winger because he doesn't get involved like how Adokar does, because they run, obviously Kiraz leading the tackle breaks and offloads, but they're trying to get him involved because they know if he gets involved, he can make impact, which that he has shown, but not sure I'd pick him over the players who are injured right now. So I'm not sure if he stays in that bench role, because you're looking at your bench and it's looking stronger than ours.
Yeah, I'm looking at that bench and I agree with you. As I mentioned, Corey Waddell, I think he's been absolutely outstanding, but I think Parramatta's bench does outweigh it there. Well, we're talking about head-to-heads in positions here, so let's go through a few. Now, obviously, unfortunately, the NRL has not updated this one here. Viliami Kikau. I feel like I've cursed him. I dead set have tagged him on Instagram that I'm looking forward to seeing him in Bulldogs colours. Obviously, first season with the Bulldogs and a nice little start. But both weeks against the Rabbitohs and now against the Eels, both injuries. And this one looks to be a long one, which is really unfortunate. We're now in round 7, and he's looking to be back in round 22. Do you think the Bulldogs can fill that void of Kikau on that edge?
I'd say we're very lucky that Preston has rocked up on the scene, because if he didn't, I feel like we would get torn to shreds. It's disappointing. I mean, it shows what a preseason does. And he didn't have a big preseason due to off-field matters. And it shows preseason is so important, like what you do off the field. And he just didn't have that, and have that head knock and then 2 games off. Coming back wasn't he obviously wasn't ready, and it's disappointing because he's our big signing, and that's where the money went. And it is disappointing.
Who for you has been the Bulldogs' best player this year? Obviously, we're only 6 rounds in, so it is fairly early to say. But look, for me, you mentioned Jacob Preston, who's been absolutely outstanding. But I think Jacob Kiraz, he's up there on the ladder for a reason in the Dally M. He has the thing about Jacob Kiraz, and I think it brings into a point a worrying sign that I have for the Dogs fans this weekend is that these Matt Burton, Josh Adokar plays and combinations work so well. And Carraz is going to be a fantastic finisher, great attacking player. Is he going to be able to perform the same, kick and chase plays?
Yeah.
Is Burton going to get a little bit exposed this weekend trying to play a little bit of Adokar with the Carraz footy?
I think you're correct. I think it's going to be very predictable footy for the Doggies, and I feel like your team Parramatta are going to be able to read most of the plays, and I know where they're going to attack. And like you said, Carraz has been our best player, no doubt about it. We had him on the potty at the start of the year. You could just tell he was ready. His first ever preseason in first grade, and he's a great player to have in your team. He's got heart. Serrato said it. If he had 13 Carrazes on the field, I think they'll win the comp. But if I was to rank them this year, I'd go Carraz, Preston, and most likely Max King.
Yeah, he's been great. Max King has been very underrated this season. And he's had some massive games. He's had some man of the match worthy forward performances, especially for the thing about the Bulldogs this week. Obviously, Tavita Pangai Jr.'s back, which is a huge in. And Jacob Preston's looking good, but there is a bit of depth in the forwards. And look, we've seen how good Max King can play. And I'm not going to curse my own team, I hope, here, but the Panthers forwards in the NRL Grand Final, we expected Parramatta's forwards of Campbell Gillard and Junior Paulo to be on top of them, and they weren't. They were monstered by them all night. So, Look, this forward pack of the Bulldogs, very underrated. All right, let's get into a little bit of some tips. So, who is going to be your first try scorer from each team? I'll go first. I'm going with Mitchell Moses. I think Mitchell Moses can score first back at home. I think it'll be filthy he didn't score against his old club. And then I think our right defense does leak some tries. So I guess that puts me our left defense. So I'm going to go with Jacob Carraz as the Bulldogs' first try scorer.
I like him. For me, I think the player who's been most quiet for you guys, Dylan Brown, but performing well. So I think he will be your first try scorer. And for us, I believe Matt Burton. Matt Burton will just be disappointed off the back of last week. He didn't play disappointing, but he knows he could have done a better job. He's going to come out and try and lead from the front foot.
There you go, battle of the number sixes, and they both end up scoring tries. So the market for a tie there, that'll be paying $1.08, that one. Well, look, mate, my tip for this game, I do think the Parramatta Eels can get it done back at home. I tell you what, I am not confident in a more than 10 points at all. I see this game being a game that ends up being decided by 1 to 10 points. I think it will be a close victory. I haven't seen many people tip Para 13 plus. There will be people doing it, mostly biased Eels supporters. I think this game will be decided by 6 points, and Parramatta games have gone right down to the finish. And I think this will be a similar game where Parramatta plays for about 60 minutes and they score plenty of points throughout that 60 minutes, enough to get it done. But the Bulldogs will probably have a late run. Let's say at halftime, Parramatta lead, I don't know, let's go 14 points to, I was going to say 4, but I'll go 14 points to 6. Yep. But at full time, I have Parramatta coming out on top at 22 to 16. I do think the Bulldogs defense has improved this season. Obviously, not a reflection too much of last week, and I think it will be a fairly tight contest, this one.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you there. I think it's going to be a really, really tight game, especially because of recent times it hasn't been, and we're due for one. We're due for a big clash, and this rivalry is going to be insane. And I think Para will be leading at halftime, and I do believe it's going to go to Golden Point. And obviously, being a Doggies fan, I think Matt Burton kicks the winning field goal, but we all know what Mitch Moses can do, signing a massive contract. He can come out and kick that field goal. So I do believe it's going to Golden Point.
Let's just quickly touch on it. Something that I've been waiting for this, and this is the most hype and talked about thing for the game this weekend. Reid Marnie. Yeah, Reid Marnie obviously did a lot with the Parramatta Eels, 6 seasons with the Parramatta Eels. almost found himself in an Origin jersey for the Queensland Maroons. So he's shown how great of a player he can be. And he's led the way for the Bulldogs to start this season. I still don't think he's had, X factor as such to start the season, but he's definitely been good. A lot of Eels fans, not myself, want to boo Reid Marnie on the field as he comes on at CommBank on Sunday. How do you think it will be, the atmosphere as Reid Marnie runs on?
Oh, it's going to be crazy. I think your fans are split for sure. He's not a player that you can hate, but you can dislike the fact that he's gone to the Bulldogs. So
and he chose the money.
And he chose the money. But for us, I mean, I'm so happy we have him. Like, that middle is so much stronger, and you can tell that he makes a big difference to any team he would be in, and he does deserve a Origin jersey soon down the track. But the buzz on the field is gonna be crazy. I think the players are just gonna have it in for each other. I think he's gonna be the Parramatta Eels target the whole game. Just try and split him down the middle, tire him out if you can. But I just think we're ready. But I can't wait to just get to the game and watch.
I can't wait. It's the last game of the round, and I wish it was, I really wish it was just earlier. I wish it was tomorrow night. Probably not tonight. I'm not a big fan of Thursday night footy at the time this being filmed. But there you go. The Eels and the Bulldogs Sunday, 4:00 at CommBank Stadium. Still tickets to get your ticket. Josh, thank you so much for jumping on. Go and check out Sportshed TV over on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Let us know your tips in the comments, your first try scorer, player to watch, and we'll see you guys later. Thank you.